You ever find yourself thinking you know exactly how the world works, only to have the whole script flipped in a single, blinding instant? Yeah, that's what happened on a Tuesday morning at 36,000 feet, when the rules of power, privilege, and who's really running the show got rewritten in front of a plane full of strangers, all because one flight attendant thought she could size up a person in 3 seconds flat. You know what I mean? You blink, and suddenly your entire sense of justice and consequence gets an upgrade. So picture this Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta. Sunrise slicing through the glass. The hum of travelers, 1,000 rolling suitcases, and over by Gate B12 DR. Aaliyah Richardson is gliding through it all, looking like she owns the play switch in some convoluted, hidden way she actually does. But today, nobody knows that. She's rocking this deep blue silk scarf, designer heels, and carrying that kind of calm you can't buy on Rodeo Drive. She's 42, already a legend in tech and healthcare, but right now she's undercover, about to take her own airline's pulse from the inside, one passenger seat at a time. Thing is, Aaliyah's not just rich smart. Meridian Airlines is her baby, tucked behind a maze of holding companies, and today's trip to LA is less business, more detective work. She's learned you can't really know a company until you feel how it treats the people who pay for a ticket, not just the ones who cash the checks. So, first class, window seat, boarding pass outs ready to watch, to take notes, and maybe catch some issues before they catch her. Now, enter Samantha Chun. She's worked this route since flip phones were cool, and prides herself on knowing trouble when she sees it. That's the problem. Samantha's radar is sharp, too sharp for its own good, and when she clocks Aaliyah walking toward first class, something twists in her gut. You can almost see her mind whirring. That kind of poise, that skin, in first class, doesn't add up. So before Aaliyah can even slide in her seat, Samantha swoops in, voice tight as piano wire. I need to see your boarding pass and ID. You ever see a room go quiet? The other passengers sure do. Aaliyah, stone calm, hands over her stuff smooth, practiced. Samantha inspects it like she's scanning for gold flakes under the lamplight. California? Huh? Long way from home. Aaliyah gives her the business traveler answer, polite but getting a little tight-lipped now. The traffic in the aisle jams up while Samantha puts her under the microscope, and wouldn't you know it, a white guy in a tailored suit breezes right past. No challenge, no fuss, not even a glance. You can feel the temperature in the cabin drop. People notice. Aaliyah notices. She's lived through this 100 times microaggressions, subtle digs, the old, "Are you sure you belong here?" But you learn to hold it in, because if you let it show, somehow you're always the one in trouble, right? Finally, Samantha steps aside. Fine, but I'll be watching you. Aaliyah sits, feeling that strange, stinging mix of anger and déjà vu. She watches as Samantha's face flips to customer service mode for the next folks suddenly. There's help with bags, big fake smiles, small talk about weather. That double standard almost makes you laugh, except it's not funny at all. So, take off. Aaliyah tries to work, but it's hard to focus. Her company's been struggling with complaints about rude staff and bias now. She knows why. The spreadsheet is right in front of her, but seeing it, living it, is a whole different animal. Then Samantha's back, this time with Marcus Thompson, the senior Attendant, a big guy, 12 years on the job, doesn't look happy to be dragged into this. "Ma'am," Samantha says, putting on a performance for the whole cabin, "we've had complaints about your disruptive behavior." Aaliyah blinks, barely said a word. Marcus shifts awkwardly, clearly uncomfortable. It's absurd, right? Typing on a laptop, making notes, Samantha says, it's making people nervous. Now, if you've ever flown first class, you know that's about half the people in the cabin. Aaliyah holds it together, asks for specifics, and Samantha just doubles down, "People like you don't belong here." She might as well have said on a bullhorn. You feel the ripple phones out, heads turning, folks catching every word. Marcus tries to intervene, but Samantha isn't backing down. Unless you want to explain to the captain, she threatens him. It's ugly. Aaliyah flashes her platinum status card. Samantha waves it off. Anyone can fake those. You ever see someone so determined to be right that they dig their own grave with both hands? That's Samantha, right then. Minutes later, Samantha tries to bump Aaliyah to economy, muttering about being more comfortable back there. It's outrageous, and Aaliyah says so, clear as day. I'll be staying in my assigned seat. Marcus, in a quiet moment, admits this isn't the first time. Happens more than it should, he says, eyes heavy. You can tell something is about to snap, and when it does, it's spectacular. After another flare-up, Samantha, accusing Aaliyah of making threatening calls, it happens. Words escalate. Samantha blurts out something about, "You people always playing the race card." And then, before anyone can stop it, Samantha's hand comes out of nowhere and slaps Aaliyah across the face. You hear that? That was the sound of a whole airplane losing its mind. Shock, outrage, phones in the air. Marcus bolts forward. Don't touch her again, he orders, barely holding it together. Captain Hayes calls for security. Air marshals push through. Samantha tries to spin a story she was defending herself, she says, but nobody's buying it. Aaliyah is calm, methodical, lays out the entire ordeal for the marshals, her face still burning from a slap. Marcus and other witnesses back her up. Video is everywhere, and by the time they touch down in L.A., the FBI is waiting at the gate. What nobody on that flight knows yet is that Aaliyah has been quietly activating her crisis team. And the moment her identity as the owner drops, this isn't just an assault, it's the corporate scandal of the decade. Inside Meridian's boardroom, jaws drop as the news breaks. The board learns not only did an employee assault their boss, but complaints about this same flight attendant have been swept under the rug for years. Aaliyah lays it all out. 17 ignored complaints, a company culture that looked the other way, and now a reckoning that won't be private or quiet. There's talk of a $50 million civil rights fund, a promise to overhaul every inch of the airline's operations, and a warning: change willingly or be dragged into the sunlight. And the world watches. The slap goes viral, the press conference stuns the country, and Congress comes calling. Suddenly, airlines everywhere are scrambling to rewrite their own rules. Samantha's life unravels, facing federal charges and public condemnation. Marcus testifies, shedding light on years of bias. The airline faces lawsuits, fines, but eventually emerges as the leader in equality and reform because real change came not from hiding, but from putting everything out in the open. 5 years later, the scars remain, but so does the progress. Meridian is now the gold standard for anti-bias training. Aaliyah, once just a quiet owner, is a national figure. Even Samantha, after her sentence and years of community work, helps others confront and undo their own prejudices. So, here's the deal: one slap, one moment of hatred became the spark that forced an entire industry to face its demons. The question isn't whether Aaliyah got justice. It's whether the rest of us are brave enough to demand the same, to call out bias wherever it hides, and to stand up even when it's hard. That's where the real change happens. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think public accountability or quiet settlements better serve justice in stories like this? Have you ever witnessed a moment where someone flipped the script on prejudice? Drop your thoughts below. If you believe every voice matters in the fight for justice, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that remind us. Sometimes, a single act of truth can shake the world.